What's going, people? Somebody stole my puller plates out of my tensioner. So I finally got to work on the problem with my puller plates keep getting stuck and not retrieving fully. There'll be a quarter of an inch hanging out, and therefore the magnet doesn't get sensed, so that the machine allows me to perform another pull when it's stuck like that. So taking it apart, take a look at what's going on. So that's what it looks like from the inside. As you can see, it's got these roller balls, and the side is missing the plates, which I've removed. So this side, see, they each have recessed slots cut out. They serve as tracks for these balls to slide in. And this side's supposed to face the inside, I think. It's supposed to go like this to remove a piece of dirt from inside this track. As you can see, this other half, there's roller balls on the other side as well. Flip this over the track. The spring is in good shape. So as you can see, as the strings get pressed in between the plates, it'll move out, and then it's supposed to retract fully. Matter of fact, it's supposed to come back fully naturally. No, because you see this pin over here by my finger, that's supposed to insert itself inside that slot with the adjustment screw. You see that determines this adjustment screw over here. It determines how far that pin can go in before stopping. That's how you adjust for the plates to accommodate different thicknesses. So I'm going to put these springs go back in here, I think. No. Anyway, cover that up. You see how the pin over here can slide in and out of that slot. Yeah, as it turned out, my lens was dirty before. That's why you can't see clearly. Anyways, this puller plate over here, it differs from the other one, as you can see. It's got the same number of roller balls, but on this corner over here, there's a piece of magnet over in that corner. I've determined that, so hard to hold this camera while filming. I've determined how these plates are getting caught up and not retracting. It's basically due to the fact that I'm testing to see if these roller balls are rolling smoothly. As it retracts back rightwards, the magnet gets hung up on the bottom lip over here. See, that's how exactly it gets hung up, because the magnet is too strong. It gets hung up on that lip and it won't go back anymore. It's supposed to retract fully back like this, but it gets to there and it gets stuck. You can see from the outside, see how that magnet just gets hung up over there. So what I did yesterday was I made some kind of insulant. I basically took some super glue and I put, as you can see, on the bottom edge of that magnet piece, there's a layer of super glue. I was hoping that layer over there will be able to reduce the magnetism so that it won't get hung up on the other side that much. And I also put a layer on this face as well. That's the face that's facing down. So I'm gonna put it back together and test it and see if I fixed it. I'm trying to test it in my hand over here. All right, see, as the string is being pulled, it goes out, and usually it gets stuck over here in this position after the string releases out of the plates. It gets stuck right here because that piece of magnet on the bottom of the plate near me is too strong, so I'm guessing it gets either attracted too much against the bottom of the housing, or the side piece, or the side wall, the wall that's near me. You know, either one of these, either one of those. So I've added those glue to try and help buffer that, so as to lower the power of the magnet. So far I'm testing it with my finger, try to slow it down over there to see if it'll get hung up. See how I purposely slow it down for it to get hung up, and it's not hanging up. Whereas without the super glue, I can replicate the problem by simply just moving the magnet over there, and it will get stuck every time. But now I can't get it stuck. It will always want to retract in, which is a good sign. because originally when I first looked into the problem, I found a bunch of glue on it. All right, and I thought that was some kind of manufacturing defect. So being that I always react to things very quickly, I went ahead and I scraped off some of that glue that, you know, looked ugly and looked like somebody simply glued the magnet onto it and made a big mess. That's what it seemed like to me, but I did not consider the fact that the reason it was getting hung up was because that magnet is too strong and they needed that extra bit of glue to go in between so it won't get hung up there. So I think by removing those glue, I basically made the problem worse. So hopefully now I've added some super glue back to the location. It looks ugly, but from the top you can't see it. So I'll somebody's dropping off a racket. I'll be able to confirm if the problem is solved while I string that racket. So stay tuned for a positive confirmation. Just got the puller plates screwed back on. Take 2 screws on the front side and 2 more screws on the back side. There's some gap, as you can see, there's some gap on the back side against this back cover, which is okay because I'd rather have a gap there than a gap over here in the front. I made sure that I screw these 2 bolts in first so I don't leave any gap, because what happened was with a gap that size it is in the back, during the stringing, it's happened to me where I'm pulling the string somehow and the string will get stuck, and it usually goes between the plate like that, but sometimes it comes up and it gets stuck under this top plate and it'll damage the string like that. And I've had it happen where it gets stuck on the outside of this, in between this and this. Therefore, I went ahead and I eliminated that gap, so there's no way for the string to get stuck. So that's that. But I've also tested it just like I showed before. As it grabs the strings, the plate moves up, and then it must come back fully. Meaning, here's the magnet sensor right here, that piece. All right, that's on the bottom. It's connected to a wire that's plugged into a small circuit board on the bottom of this thing, I think. And then it eventually all goes into the motherboard side of the tensioner. So when the problem happens, this magnet on the bottom of that piece that showed it wouldn't retract fully like this, it would actually get hung up like this, about a quarter of a way out. You see how the magnet still sits on top of the sensor piece, so it's still sensing the presence of that magnet, and therefore it doesn't let me perform another pull right away until I have to physically come over here and push it in with my finger before I can pull the string and do another pull. So after I just added the super glue onto it, I'm trying to repeat the problem, make it stuck again, and I purposely slowed down that piece so it would see if it'll stick at that location. So far it no longer sticks, you see. No matter how slow or how lightly I leave it, it always comes back. And if I release it quickly, it comes back really quick. So I'm hoping that little bit of super glue I applied did the trick. Maybe that was the whole point, the reason why they had the super glue on there to begin with. And I shouldn't have gone ahead and removed it. But initially, even with the factory super glue on there, it was getting stuck somehow. And that might have been caused by a different reason, which I have no clue now because I can't go back in time. But here we are in the present time, and I'll see if it happens again during my next string job.
Good news, guys. I just got done stringing this beautiful 2026 Pure Aero 98, and my puller plates did not get stuck. Not even one. So it looks like problem successfully fixed for anybody who experienced similar problems. Hopefully I've demonstrated a feasible and easy repair for you. Any questions or comments, feel free to put them below. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you next time.